let's dive in. Oh, I'm kind of nervous and excited. All right. So, a couple things that we're going to, first of all, I want to show you a couple of quick things. I'll put links in the chat. The workflow is going to be like this. So, I've been working all morning. I've been working in Claude, coming up with these mini briefs, working on my mini briefs. I've also been working with my customer companion in ChatGPT. So, for those of you, and I think most of you have taken my first course, the idea here is that once we get our images and some visuals ready, we can share that with the customer companion and get their input on how they look. I've been working with Sarah, my AI customer companion, to create these mini briefs in the first place. I duel between her and Claude to come up with something that she's going to actually respond to, which has been a really powerful workflow for me. And I wanted to highlight that as a kind of a pro tip or recommendation. Okay, so let's go over. I'm going to throw in. So the first thing, I want you guys to open a few tabs as we get started. And I'm going to throw these links in chat for you. This is Kive. This is a SREF library that I'd like you to have at the ready. I need to make this to everybody. This is the visual AI search engine that we are going to use today. And then we're going to also use this SREF library. So here are some tabs that I would love for you to have. Okay, hopefully those get you where you need to go. Midjourney is going to be our primary image gen tool today, everybody. And I'm actually going to move this over here so I have a nice clean workflow. Let's start here with where we are going, what we're going to build today. Yes, and then we will get there together. So Midjourney is amazing. It is my absolutely hands down favorite artwork image gen tool. Is it the one and done? No, because it doesn't handle text. That is the problem. So for my text, I will mostly use Canva. Very sparingly, I might use OpenAI's new image gen tool that can do text, but I use that I just pepper that in. This is really for, I'm going to call it background artwork, imagery, stuff that you can overlay with text or even overlay with graphics if your brand style needs that. You can see all this, they have a community tab. You can go through, you can use all of these images, like everything is common use. So kind of a fun thing with these tools, right? So like anything I see here, I could use, I could copy, I can riff off of. But let's take a look. The most important thing I want to show you today was this personalized tab. So if we go to the personalized tab, and hopefully you all have gone through the process, it'll ask you the series, pick your favorite image. I think you have to do like 50, I don't know, I can't remember the exact number, but once you do that number, you'll be able to turn personalization on. This feature is what allows us to make mood boards that we're going to make today. And mood boards are what allow you to instantly create a style without having to train the model over and over and over again, right? So these mood boards are important, and they're one of the most powerful tools right now out there for creating brand consistent visuals. This is why I love Midjourney so much. You have what is called your global profile. I very rarely use my global profile. It's learning kind of my preferences, all of that, the image picking that I did, it all falls under this global profile, which I can turn on or off depending on what I want. So I typically have this turned off for most of my work. Why? Because I'm working on client stuff that I don't want my own personalizations to play into the mix, right? If I'm going to do something, if I'm having a birthday party or, making a set of tarot cards or like whatever the hell I'm doing that's personal to me, I might have this turned on because it's going to have all my personal aesthetic stuff in there. So I just leave this turned off, but you have to go through and create this in order to get access to this feature, the mood boards. I have several mood boards here, as you can see. I have created them in different ways, but it's worth just looking at the differences here. So you can have a mood board that is as simple as, this is my Intel stock photo mood board. I actually pulled actual real Intel stock photos that they had used and trained the model to imitate it, right? So if I go into this mood board and I click this button, use in prompt, it has this, you'll see this long profile number. This is telling Midjourney to mimic this style no matter what I put in here. And this is where it gets scary because, AI stuff doesn't work sometimes, everybody. So let's keep that in mind. But for example, I'm just going to try it. If I put, an image of an apple, let's just see what happens here. And let's hope that it's going to work today, but we'll see what happens. And Just going to show you all very quickly. So this would be, an image of an apple. No, okay, we need to make sure that is off, first of all. Okay, so now personalization is off. You can go to the Create tab and see what happens here. So it's sort of interesting. So this Create tab is awesome. It shows the prompt. It gives you the aspect ratio, which of course you can modify. V7 is the model of in Midjourney that's being used. And you've got the mood board here. So this is what it's coming up with. It's pretty hyper-realistic, stock photo-y apple, right? It'll take a second, but it'll finish in a minute. Let's just compare that to, let's say I go to my Accenture mood board. This was trained on imagery from the Accenture Tech Vision 2025 report, using prompt, and I'm going to use the exact same prompt here, an image of an apple. And let's see what happens. Nice, right? Gets the color story, gets the treatment. So this is a really good example of mood boards. Any questions so far?
I have one, Lisa. Mood board versus profiles.
Yeah.
I guess I've always confused turning that on for both. Like, to me, it's in that section, I always thought personalization meant either your mood board or your profile. Like, do you know how that differentiates?
Yeah, so that's a great question. If we head over, so you'll notice these mood boards, as they are called, they all have these profile numbers, as my global profile also has kind of a profile number. So I think it's the same backend technology, Natalie. Like it is a way to tell the model a specific set of parameters to follow when it's creating the image. It's just kind of a different naming convention. They create these mood boards that allow me to open and train and click, but it's, when I use it in a prompt, it's that profile number.
And since I can use all of them in a profile, it's like, did you turn it on? Or it seems almost irrelevant to turn it on if you can pick.
If this personalization, your own global personalization, it's, I want to say that it's maybe more for like artists that are trying, right? It's really for folks that are more working on their own artwork, I think, where they're consistently wanting to draw from their own aesthetic versus brand marketers who are, working typically with other aesthetics.
Okay,
I hope
that makes sense. I think the answer then is just always turn it off and put the profile you want. That feels like the right answer to me.
Yes, 100%. Okay. That is absolutely what I do. Very, very rarely. I basically never have this turned on myself.
I have a quick question.
Yes, please. Let's go for it.
My Midjourney defaulted to V6. Should we be working in V7?
Yeah, V7's the latest one. It's never easy. Depending upon the subscription level. Yeah. Here's where they get you, right? It's going to cost more like to use turbo, fast mode, and blah, blah, blah. So like you just have to mitigate the costs with it, Kimberly. But I try to always use the latest model if possible.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hey, Lisa. Good morning. Quick question, right?
Good morning. Hi, Prakash.
Hey, probably a dumb one, but to start with, what's the use case, right? I'm kind of sitting there, I don't know. So if I'm making a blog, inserting a picture that resonates with that similar kind of audience, like, again, we know we are trying to reverse engineer some kind of piece here. Just, again, making it up in my head. I don't know. Just what's the use?
Yeah, perfect. So let's look at this. So these were images from Salesforce 360's blog. Their entire blog has this treatment for every featured image that they use. They, back in the day, had a designer make these. Well, now we have a mood board that I can create this exact same style for each one automatically. I don't have to go to a designer, but because I want the blog to be branded and use the same illustrative treatment. That's one example. I can go back to kind of what my use case, Prakash. I'm creating a brand new, I'm going to call it a content pillar, right? We can call it a campaign. You can call it a content pillar. Maybe it's a new line of business, Prakash, whatever. I'm creating a whole new one, and I need a look and feel. Like this content series is going to have a bunch of stuff that needs to look really good. It's going to have PDFs, and it might have interactive polls, and it's definitely gonna have blog posts, and it's gonna have tons of I might even make baseball cards and badges, and who knows. And it all has to look the same. And so this mood board that I'm creating today will be the tool that will easily and quickly allow me to make different, imagery, different things, but in the same style.
Oh, okay. So if you can you make a write-up and include it, and so that it gives you a picture similar to that, and then you can kind of upload it in Instagram. I'm making
So
stories.
I'm not sure I'm gonna understand the question. Could you ask again?
So if I just say, hey, I want, like, if they don't have anything to train on, but can I train this on text? Hey, I have this thing in my mind as a visual. Oh,
I'm gonna say no, that it's not a good idea to train on text. So let's go there. How we want to train, we're gonna find visual examples that we like, that match our style that we want, and we're going to start bringing that in and blending and hopefully coming up with a unique style that is going to fit the bill here. And that's the process that we're going to go through today. And we're going to use style reference numbers to do this. So the first, is there a question? Oh, Carlo, hi, good morning.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to mention that, like regarding the last question, if you don't really have any image to start with, I guess you could try to get a text prompt and generate images until you have a set that you like, and then you use that for the mood board. Like if you don't have anything to start with.
okay.
Yeah, good to have a real world use case of what these images are for. So that's number one. I know what my images are for. Maybe you know what your images are for, like whatever it is. Now, if you don't have anything to start with, work with Claude, work with ChatGPT to create your brief. If you have nothing, that's the next step. If you're creating you can also take a website URL that might have the look and feel you're going for. Every business has a website. Throw that into ChatGPT and ask it to create a style brief based on the website. And it's amazing what it'll pop out, right? So we definitely want to work with our large language models if we don't have something to create something. And that is exactly what I did with my mini briefs. And so let me just open the mini brief, as I think that will help us out here. So I created very quickly. And here's the other thing that's exciting. Back in the day, you might you might toss around a few different ideas, but you would kind of have to pretty quickly choose one to really build out, because it was so it was cost a lot of money and was very resource intensive to fully build out a brand style guide. But now you can build them out in seconds. So I'm going to run. Why not run 4 or 5 different ideas, right? I can create 4 or 5 different mood boards very, very quickly. And then I can take those images to my customer companion and ask her what she thinks. I mean, we're in this phase now where we don't have to do just one idea. We can do 5. So I have these 5, I have 4. This is the one I'm going to work on. So I've already worked on a few of these. They're all different treatments, but this is the current one that I'm leaning towards. This is the one that my customer companion liked the best, right? So I'm going to work this one first today. This is for the Ethical AI Marketer series, my new content series about how to be an ethical AI marketer that I talked about. The core aesthetic is cinematic hero journey, bold, empowering, transformative. I've got my vision here, color palette, key visual elements. It's giving me a prompt framework that I may or may not use. But this is the important piece that we need to have, y'all. So if you don't have this piece, go get it, which is the style reference search term. So there are dozens of style reference directories, and we're going to be using those today. Then we need to search those directories to find examples of the treatments we like. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay.
Sure.
And this is where you're going to see me coming back. So I've got these search terms now that align with this treatment that I have defined with my customer companion. And these will be the search terms that I use to search through and find the treatments that I like. Yeah. So we're all here. Get open these search terms that define the brand style that you're working on today. And that will serve as a good starting point here for our journey. All right. So the way this will work, let's start with the very first one, Marvel Cinematic Key Art. I'm going to copy this, and we're probably not going to do all 3 examples today. We're going to use this one example and take it from here to mood board today, hopefully over the next hour is the plan. So I'm going to take the term, and this is where we've got a couple. So I'm going to hop over here to Kive. Let me explain what these tools are. The Kive board is a board put together by Nick St. Pierre. He's one of my very favorite creative directors. He's worked with a lot of amazing brands, and he has a very creative and active content creator community that I've been following and love. What he has done, he has randomly generated. These are not his styles. These are randomly generated styles that he has pulled out of Midjourney and archived in this library. There's thousands and thousands of them. So that's what Kive is. And it's a free resource that he is providing, and it's incredibly valuable. So I'm going to put the term here, and I'll click enter, and we'll start getting some stuff. Next, I'm going to hop over to SameEnergy. SameEnergy is an AI visual search engine. Instead of pulling images that represent style reference numbers are only usable in Midjourney right now. Midjourney is really the only tool that uses them. But what this tool is, I can put in the same search term, and it's now searching the web to pull up things that match my search. If you're working with a tool other than Midjourney, let's say you're working with an Adobe Firefly, or let's say you're even working with a ChatGPT image generator, you can use and download these images and train it on these images. It's a way to kind of try to have some control without using a style reference number. Any questions so far? I know I'm kind of already getting in the weeds, but the reason I like to go here as another place to look is, number one, it adds a kind of a layer of something different, but also it helps me understand how AI sees the world, right? So AI, so I have this term, Marvel Cinematic Key Art. I may, as a person, I don't know what that even really means. I don't know, right? But if I put it into this AI visual search engine, now AI, it's pulling what they think it means. So now I have some insight into what AI thinks that term means. So anyway, I just love kind of having this. And then the third one, y'all, because I like to work in threes, is this SREF.co. It's one of the largest library of Midjourney styles available. Unfortunately, it's not free. It costs money. But I'm going to just go ahead and use it today as an example to let you know that there are other style reference libraries out there other than Nix. So we've got 3 places where we're going to go and start looking for styles that we like.